kwajo show so.
Eight days ago, Anna Ghana for 8 ewu Burkina Faso. No mo koye den, no mo koton toes. Na debate ne kon so parliament no. Echini ne ko free say oh Ghana ni defense minister to a certain project. 11.9 million Poalugu Dam. Big scandal. The meeting ne catch them say the comment says the impression is as if say people don't really understand how huge and the weirdness of Sani Ghana to almost $12 million. And the mark contractor say one koye mobilization for Poalugu Dam. Dam na ma. Now, what is even the significance of the Poalugu Dam? And then NDC kind of opposition. And why I feel say as a buying communication across BBC him. BBC sometimes communication is also more position. I'm getting a bit agitated about that. So what I'm going to do for you today is that there's lot of dates, lot of videos, lot of throwback, lot of parliamentary data, lot of press statements, and me yen nyama we a certain thread. Why you we are analysis, but to be so clear to you. Me jama na why analysis. Come I catch us 2026 na e certain thing. Facts are facts. And these are documented facts. And all you need to know about the Poalugu Dam scandal. And I'm on the critical analysis. Make sure so be subscribe. I'm most subscribe. Click the notification. The video be a tuma. You will certainly have a comment. Feel free and leave that comment in the comment section. Let's go to Poalugu Dam. How important is Poalugu Dam? Once a very Bagri Dam, I spell from Burkina Faso now by Fladagan and Fonia. Poalugu was supposed to stop that. Poalugu was also supposed to be an irrigation dam. Irrigation chirese ye insuo bi e no na ye de betimi da all year round farming. Se insuo to insuo anto dam no ye be irrigate ye be irrigation dam insuo e betimi aboama ya dofo. Again ne was solar component ne ye ka no Poalugu multi-purpose. Ye ka se bibi e multi-purpose a ewo mfaso bebra utimi de ye. So phone for example, I shoot my videos with Pixel 9 Pro. So it can be a video phone. Phone so phone has multi-purpose functions. So the dam had multi-purpose functions. Now Niatiana said dam no first component no near be 50 hydropower. You can hydropower a insuo a wudi nyina mo kanea tesa kosumbo. And that's first component there's be 50 megawatt solar power. Solar na ye awia ebono. Oche edigu be for the PV panels. Photovoltaic panels wa na wo de yenyina mo kanea na obroni ka no solar panel into one so ahwe kwa difference no hydropower insuo a ye de yenyina mo kanea what you say ye chigu na mu na turbine ni twa na ho sa pressure no e de light ba awia nso o chigu ade bi so e fa no photovoltaic panels and also ultimi danim e manyenyina mo kanea no solar panels. The first component na cost no e $588.4 million. Second component no irrigation component no na no $404.7 million. Itu kan nyina boma Poalugu Dam ni nyina ni awie ni nyina na be $993 million. 2020 Dr. Mahmoud Amia kwa Sempe FM and obi ibusa na say mo pesa mo kwa batu obi o free Northern Ghana o 2022 elections. What one single project na betimi akase ya yama sremufuo ana north because we dey MPP champ card e wo north eni ti asem o ka about Poalugu Dam. Now we are 2024 no ka about Poalugu Dam ti.
In the northern part of our country where you come from and Amono, can you beat your chest and say yeah yet this signature project in the north? I
think here the most important project here in the north since independence, a Poalugu Dam project.
Okay,
is the biggest investment. Say we're drawing books no more since independence.
Okay, like I watch it.
Government be by say Poalugu Dam, but we're here as a signature project, and in Ebeda #1. So there's no doubt about that. Poalugu Dam, no, it's.
A few moments later,
I have no doubt
doubt in my mind, and I was championing the Palugu Dam. We have not yet been able to do it, but by the grace of God, I believe we are going to do the Palugu Dam. It has to be done. It's a major priority because that can bring 28,000 hectares into cultivation.
Yes. So, it will be the biggest ever investment in northern Ghana. $993 million. Now, contract, according to GIDA, where Ghana Irrigation Development Authority, press statement releasing on 28 May 2024. Let's start it from there. Every 2024 se contract no ejumani ho call site bibie ni ho any ade no. Agitation started coming. It's Ghana Irrigation Development Authority, GIDA na guide, send your bekani biya no. Release a statement. And I always tell you say, if no more kasa to buti ewom. What kind sentences na? Now the it paints a certain picture. So let's read the statement. Omoba na omobo nkro na mabona ma two components say na say nkro na first paragraph. Yes, skip it. A 7-page document. 3 pictures, 2, 4 statements. Yan kind stages. The second paragraph. Or say under the contract na buying signed between the Ministry of Ghana, Ministry of Food and Agriculture on behalf of the government of Ghana and the China Power. And our Power China and ABC Dam no yes signed 22nd August 2019, but ratification about somewhere 2020. Now or say the EPC contract consists of a detailed feasibility studies, engineering designs, social and environmental impact assessment. Assessment in there. Now under the contract, government was expected to pay 48.5 million, which constitute 12% of total cost of the 404 million as part of irrigation project, as an advance payment to as a guarantee from the Republic Bank, Equitable Bank. Sorry. Now, say irrigation part of Palugu Dam, $404 million. As part of Ghana, the contribution to projects, because Power China and ABC because a 10 key project. You got 10 key, but it's a 10 key, it's a wooden key, no. It's only ABC, almost the key, you just 10 the key. Now, be 10 key projects. There are many 10 key projects. Your various also funds construction, you'll be say BOT, build, operate, transfer. Your BOOT, build, own, operate, and transfer. For example, Lebanon Africa Integras, the NI we see host on now be only for a period. Only we are after that contract period now start, you turn it back to the University of Ghana. That is a BOOT, build, own, operate, and transfer. And you will BOT, build, operate, and transfer. So they are very financial, but we no kakrakani nedika 10 key na say ya the key in the mount. Abono be designer BB anu attend the key no. But irrigation and as a government of Ghana, enya a certain obligation edeko 4% of the 404 million and they have $48.5 million. And then you see where a guide on 28 May 2024. Or say, following the receipt of the advance payment guarantee with face value of 60.7 million from the contractors bank, Stanbic Bank, an amount of 11.9 million, open the right figure now, 11,904 million and $88.06 million. 25% of total mobilization was paid in 3 tranches. So, 3 tranches, 2.5, 5.1, 4.1. And the contract na ya de 11.9 man no okoje guarantee bi free Stanbic Bank by Trese ye discount mana obetimi ana discount kra koshia. The guarantee Trese we na ye minsi achi ba okoje bese a ufie na de kotoso wantimi ntu efie ne ye koje oka na ne ye koje se guarantee ti si achi ba basically. Any etua no premiums 11.9 ye ntua no ni nyina ye tua no 3 tranches. Ye tua ye no omki come bro fu nyina na ade ba see something here dey because we be kasa ti ade bi. Conclusion statement and because my videos the doors, so let me skip it for you. Or say we would like to reiterate the following. So ma conclude come bro fu no more summarize in ti asema guide account 2024 May. Or say 1, the payment of 11.9 million was for mobilization as per the contract terms and not for final payment of work done. It's a mobilization. Say mobilization contractor name mob one home cost site no, and no 11.9 million. Okay, 2. The payment was covered by bank guarantee with a face value far in excess of the payment. Bank guarantee no the ban 60 million. And 2 money 12 million kwedi juma. It's allowed. Sana gida aka. 3. Contrary to the claim that no work has been done, the contractor has delivered both pre-construction documents and some physical works, camp and access roads. And we'll see, the general public is assured that no frivolous payment has been made and the 11.9 million paid to the contractor were duly covered by a bank guarantee valued at $60.7 million. All payments were made for specific activities executed under the contract. And the guy that said, where the scanning you or the bank guarantee by send a contract and can or the buy no sika yetu bia no the picture bas wa yadwuma no peasant farmers e ko ho MPP NDC MPC ko ho bibi kosi o public accounts committee. That is the next session of this presentation. Now yanko the 21st of June 2024 21st of June 2024 Peasant Farmers Association Western North amu hie nso ne dia donu baye ebinin to sayakwa nipa ko wu no omo ko hwe kwanyoma statement we ba May tieni ye tinam se date ne empo about 28 May. Peasant farmers ne kasa will join news on 21st June 2024 into May June, almost 1 month after some of this statement so my adwuma no modo omania bibia ye kro ma ye kwan ne bibia no see the peasant farmers ne kan.
I can hear you. Yeah, I'm saying that if you permit me, let me just give a brief history why peasant farmers are so much interested in this project, because it's our brain project. During prior to the 2016 elections, we had what we call the Farmers Manifesto, where we looked at the priority areas that we think that any of the parties that will consider them in their manifestos will consider and vote that party in power. So we did engage MPP, and at the time we made a series of proposals concerning the need to develop our irrigation infrastructure. And one of the proposals we made was the one village, one dam concept, which was accepted. Polgo Dam was one of the areas that we discussed with them. Temde Dam in the Timpani was one of the other dams that would raise those concerns. We said that because if you look at the areas where our people are, we have over 90% of them being farmers. Now, for the past 1 decade, we realized that the raining pattern changed, the volumes changed. So around December, November, you see the youth, the young women trooping to the southern sector to look for jobs because the grain-fed agriculture was no more attractive to them. So when they accepted our proposal, we all went to the rural areas, said, okay, if that's the case, we need to give them opportunity to grow. Would they hope that when they come, they will implement that? So if you look at the voting pattern in 2016, you realize that when you go to Upper East, Northeast, Upper West, Northern region, Bono Oti region, MPP votes increased drastically because we were hoping that these proposals would be accepted. After the 2016 elections, we keep monitoring these projects. You would have remembered our advocacy on the one village, one dam. Along the line, the way the one dam, one village was implemented, we were not happy. So we did engage, and then we were promised that at least there will be some kind of reforms to ensure that they are properly implemented. Again, in 2019, the sword was cut for the Polgo Dam. We were also monitoring. In 2022, October 27, all our members in Upper East and Northeast region, together with the chief, we went to the site and realized that our expectations were not met. So we did a march in the Nalirgu. We had an engagement with the Nairi. After that, Bomia called us to the Flanstar House, where we had engagement, and he gave us another promise that for now there's lack of funding, but he's going to do everything within his power to ensure that funding is allocated for the construction of the dam. Around that time, we never knew that 11.9 million was already paid to the contractor, because as at the time we visited the site, there was no work done there. Now, The following year, that's 2023, in the agriculture budget, 250 million Ghana cedis was allocated for the construction of the dam. We were further disappointed when it came to the mid-year budget, that money was taken out. So when the Public Account Committee brought out this information, for the past 2 weeks, we never had rest in the office. We got calls from the members around the area, for farmers. They think that this money is so much that they will pay that for only mobilization without seeing anywhere done. And I'm also thinking so because if you look at the one village, one dam, each dam was costing 250,000 Ghana cedis. At least we saw some kind of excavation, some kind of small work done, except that the dam didn't meet standard for agricultural purposes. But in this case, we are not even seeing anything. So for us as an association, we are not too much concerned about the politics part of the discussion. But we want to see that if 11.9 billion is paid, we want to see some kind of something that at least our farmers can use for something. But as it stands now, we think there's no goal for the 11.9 billion. And we are looking to hear, in going forward, what measures are going to be put in place to ensure that we have the portable multipurpose dam.
Is it true that the contractor has abandoned sites?
Yeah. Last week we visited there. There's no sign of any contractor there. There were some few chippings the time we visited in 2022, and then some blocks at the site. But later on, all those chippings were gone. There was nothing there.
Yes. Now, peasant farmers Ekasawi, May 29th, John Jinapo, our current, where June, Tianko back to May 29th, and next day after the statement from Gaidan, John Jinapo and our current energy minister, no my ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee, on Dominico share Palugu Dam, the state of it, because no news now started, but you also can't any.
I can confirm to you that so far, almost $12 million has been paid to the contractor. At today's exchange rate of about 16 CD, that translates to about 192 million Ghana cedis. And as you can see, nothing, and I mean nothing, is being done here. This is the taxpayers' money wasted. We visited the site for the contractor, and you can attest, contractor has packed and left sites. Not only has he abandoned the project, the chippings that he brought there, the few blocks that were molded to even construct the site, our information is that those blocks have been sold. The chippings has equally been sold, and so the taxpayers' money has gone down the drain. My checks in Accra indicates that the contractor has even left Ghana. We find this development very, very unfortunate. From all intents and purposes, this was nothing but an election gimmick to hoodwink the people. Right after the elections, nothing has happened. And so this can best be described as a scam.
Addressing the media, Mr. Jinapo stated that the minority would pursue all parliamentary avenues to recover the funds and hold accountable those responsible.
We would activate all the parliamentary processes to retrieve that amount of money, almost 200 million cedis, that has been dashed to this contractor. Somebody must be held liable. Somebody must be held accountable. 200 million cedis is no small money. $12 million can do a lot in this country. And so we would use every legitimate means, every legal means, to retrieve the money and punish those who have caused this crime, financial crime, and financial loss to the state.
Edward Bauer, Member of Parliament for the Bongo constituency and committee member, criticized the current administration's handling of the project and assured that former President John Mahama would prioritize its completion if re-elected in the upcoming December election.
We visited the chief, and the chief was so sad. He tried as much as possible to be apolitical, but at least he was talking about development. Even the route that we took to this place, suggests that there was no intention to have anything done. But usually for very major construction or projects like this, usually there are some infrastructure that is always created first to allow vehicles to come in and other things. It was so terrible. And so, just as my ranking indicated, this is a project that actually, if you look at some of the feasibility studies that had been done under the NDC. So this is a project that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama would prioritize. And I'm convinced that sometimes the best people who can really develop your area are people you think are not your children. And John Mahama has demonstrated that this is not for a political gain, but it's just to create jobs for people. Because if you look at the number of people who live northeast to the south, it's huge. And instead of Bomia trying to create jobs here, he's rather building hostels for them to come and stay. To keep them there. And that is a very, anytime you are from this area and you think about it, you know that, look, this man does not think well for the people of Ghana, and particularly the people of Northeast.
Yes. Omuwi, you know, 7th of August 2024, na Mr. Mahama and your president, Okasa on Pualugu Dam, Oba, ne obeye, tie.
We didn't start it because we were not able to yet procure dedicated funding for it. Because for a project like that, when you start funding it, it must continue to its completion. And so when this new government came, they took it up. And in 2019, they cut short for it. But I noticed something. They said it was going to be funded from Government of Ghana budget. And I knew that that was going to be a problem. Because to have an almost $1 billion project funded from Government of Ghana budget, then you can be sure that it will face the hazards that every other project that depends on the consolidated fund faces. And that is exactly what happened. Of course, it made a lot of political capital for the president's party in cutting short for that project. But I mean, one knew that it was going to face very difficult challenges. Unfortunately, we have rather lost money because almost $12 million was paid for no work done. You go to the site, there's absolutely nothing there. And so somebody has caused financial loss to the state and must be held to account to come and answer what happened. But it's a project that is desirable. We intend to continue.
Yes. Now, on the 18th of December 2024, NDC are winning about MPP. Say that no more parliament for front. Na parliament call session. Our International Conference Center. Minority NDC MPs say yenche the then Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison. Joe say we so sorry challenge you. Then the question nom say yenche. Then tin na Joe say we so say yenche nye yi TV.
If you have a governor of Bank of Ghana who effect final payment of a project of which no work has been done, the question is, what influenced this very decision, Mr. Speaker? Some people must be arrested, Mr. Speaker, to serve as a deterrent to others. So, chair of the committee, I remember there was a time you caused arrest of an official. This time, the governor, his deputies, and all officials who had a hand in this payment must be arrested. We are not just going to recover the money. They must be arrested, Mr. Speaker.
Somebody must be called to book. Somebody must account to the people of Ghana for this wanton, use of money, which we cannot even find a single block on site. One, the consultant must be arrested. Two, the agencies that awarded this contract must be arrested. Three, the governor of Bank of Ghana must be arrested.
We are talking about personal responsibility when it comes to criminal law. We are talking about holding people who have erred or deliberately misled the country or caused financial loss to the country to be personally responsible. What is the basis for saying arrest A or arrest B? The report does not say that any investigation has been made to identify who personally did what. We should stop playing to the gallery.
Yes. So if you look at it, the reaction of the minority was because of a public accounts committee near Mekoye. said the Bank of Ghana was the one that gave the credit document and had the impress approval to JIDA, the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority, to pay the money, and therefore they had to be held responsible for the money paid. Any bar NDC for share. Any what seems like a conclusion to those who you on Cassie and Bank of Ghana got boss say yen ship. Nancy be to triangle. So I buying back no almost 14 months. I feel no be cool. Near Kujra Parliament, Abekasa, Semnia Biwa. Does it make sense? This is why you do say to I get agitated at some of these things. What's your peasant pharmacy? Who don't jinapo oko? Peasant mamu position kura unya information way. Why? Why must people die for us to come back to this conversation? Neni amekano men kan say yen Samuel situ obintu mu. But update by Mintibi. NSS aba cathedral aba my be the channel so matibia send me a link. Send me a link. As a cocoa board there. You all knew the issues. After you move into a case and by investigation. When you do that, it's not effective communication. It is not effective. This is the backstory. Now, near one crane say, guarantee no the buy is 60.7 no and when. Careful. Okwaje besia. Ana akwaje besia ndo ka kusi awa. Unti mintu abesa na dey nesi in normal corporate practices, private business mean ya dey nesi. Beba aban on za ne no. Me ha oni nyina ni o. La kadeseka. Katasumu mu aso. Yehu ne yeye. Na obi asan ba na aye bi. Almost $12 million. This is the backstory of the Poalugu Dam. Can to see my coffee? It will be one of the biggest irrigation dams in entire Africa. Poalugu Dam. Bagri Dam adibia ye bia na buma kaf Ghana force no mo tini bi wuni ade no. Can maybe. The san benya nyina ma hoden. 40.85 na aban obligation no. Ni etu aye no. Sika ama. Peasant farmers no wo mi nick scam de fa ka ko. Omo kasa adwum statement ne ba me. Inti yentimi nko hese de ye adwuma ampa. As I said, I'll leave the conclusion to you. From Eugene say to I Chris analyst channel. Feel free to share your comments in the comments section. We are no subscribe that one. Subscribe and click the notification. The video be here tomorrow. Ube hu no wait me. I should show you mama cause me here and a Ghana and so here. Bye bye.